Hello everyone, welcome to Royal News Network. My name is Brittany and today we are going to be talking about the Commonwealth Service. Yes, I'm wearing my royal blue in honor of the service and the coat dress that Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge, wore. And I just thought I was kind of going to do a short on it, and I may still post that. But I was looking at some of the pictures and the videos, and what was so interesting is how this event seemed like very much a celebration. Catherine and William were very happy. They were smiling. There's a really, really cute picture of them together during the service, and it's just miles away from 2020, the last time we had this service, and you could cut the tension in that church with a knife. All right, so just to kind of remind you guys, in 2020, it was kind of it was Harry and Meghan's kind of last hurrah in the UK. They tried to make as big a splash as they could. Harry and Meghan went to one of the events for soldiers. I can't remember exactly what the event was. She wore this turquoise dress, and then they went to this Royal Marines event, and Meghan wore red. So it was really kind of, for Meghan, a very flashy trip. And so for the service, she decided to wear Kermit green. That's, probably the best descriptor for it. She didn't look, but the color was very Kermit the Frog. Anyways, and so kind of there was a big kerfluffle when this first was going down, because it was originally announced that there's a procession that happened. So the year before, you see all the most senior royals. So that's Prince Charles and Camilla, Catherine and William, and Harry and Meghan gathered together and in the front of the church waiting for the Queen. And then there was a procession where they all walked down. However, in 2020, because Harry and Meghan had made the choice to leave the monarchy, which is their choice, they were not going to be part of that procession. So in order to avoid avoid Harry and Meghan causing a fuss, the palace decided to have, Sophie and Prince Edward, sit down first, and then Harry and Meghan went and sat down, and then Catherine and William sat down. So Catherine and William didn't get to go in the procession, even though they were scheduled to, because they kind of figured that Harry and Meghan would have a bit of a hissy fit. And I believe those were some of the rumors that Harry kicked up quite a fuss when he was told, no, you're leaving the royal family, you can't walk down with the most senior members. But if you look at the pictures and kind of the bits of video that we have from the event, you can just tell how tense it is. So when Catherine and William finally walked in, Harry and Meghan did a little hi, and Harry tried, they tried to say hi. As far as I could tell, Catherine did not really have any interaction with them at all, and Prince William didn't really either. Obviously, Catherine and William were pretty upset at this point. Megxit had been announced literally the day before Catherine's birthday, so it kind of rained all over her parade. And, the Cambridges, they have 3 young children, and as originally planned, they were going to have the support of Harry and Meghan, at least for most of the time as royals, so they could kind of share the duty and a bit of the limelight. Catherine really came out of her shell, I think, after Meghan was kind of introduced and married into the royal family, because all of a sudden, all the attention wasn't on her anymore. There was somebody to kind of share it. So yes, naturally there was, maybe a bit of competition between the sisters-in-law, but I think Kate really appreciated having somebody else for the media to focus on rather than just focusing on her and her family. And so when it came to this Commonwealth event, it was tense. It was very, very tense. You could just tell. You can't tell with Meghan, because Meghan, I think, is always kind of acting a bit. So she always has this kind of sly smirk on her face. But Harry, you could tell he was, especially walking out at the end, his expression was kind of thunderous. You could tell he was mad. And you kind of understand it. Obviously he's not used to being treated that way. However, his family is not used to the way he treated them, dropping Megxit on them without any warning, really, doing it right before Catherine's birthday, making all these sorts of demands. So I don't know if you all will recall, they did a very detailed explanation on their website, Sussex Royal, but they said that they intended to still support the Queen, still support the Commonwealth. So they were going to do royal duties when they wanted to, and was just going to leave the rest for when they didn't want to. Because I've been listening through some of Lady Colin Campbell's book, and she explains that Meghan thought most of royal life was quite boring, because most of it is. And so Harry and Meghan were just going to leave the boring parts to everyone else and do kind of the glamorous events, you know, like the Lion King premiere, anything that was glitzy and glammy. And they were also going to travel all over the world at the expense of the British governments and other Commonwealth governments, because they were the president and vice president of the Queen's Commonwealth Trust. And so there was really just a whole lot of tension in that church, and nobody looked happy. But today, which is the first in-person service since the whole pandemic began, so it was kind of a big deal. Unfortunately, the Queen was unable to attend. Obviously, her health she's still not doing well, unfortunately. And it's a shame to see, but she did mention about how much in a statement, let me grab it here. In her message, she said, "In this year of my Platinum Jubilee," so that's celebrating 70 years on the throne for Her Majesty, "it has given me pleasure to renew the promise I made in 1947 that my life will always be devoted in service." The message read in part. I think that message really shows that Her Majesty is truly dedicated to service to her country, service to the Commonwealth, service to her ancestors who came before her, the long legacy of the British monarchy. The British monarchy began, what we know it as today, started in 1066. So it's almost been 1,000 years. She feels the weight of that history. And that's why she is so passionate about serving her country in this way and serving it until she's in her late 90s. Who else is still working in her 90s? It's unbelievable. And it's such a difference between her legacy of service and that is continuing through Prince Charles and Prince William, and Meghan Markle and Harry, who really want to have their service make them money. They would only want to do service when it benefits them. It benefits their bank account, it benefits their image, whatever it happens to be, rather than seeing service as something that's done just for the benefit of others. So it was really fun to see some of the pictures and images from today. You can tell that a weight has been lifted. Obviously, many other reports are Meghan, and you could just see it in how royal watching changed when Meghan came into the monarchy, how it became just incredibly toxic. I mean, even in the fandom, it used to be a lot of fun. I mean, people didn't like Kate Middleton, they didn't like Crown Princess Mary of Denmark, but really the level of toxicity went up to 100 when Meghan came into the monarchy. And I think that happened both in the fandom, people who love royals, and it happened behind the scenes as well. So it was a great relief to see them so happy and thrilled to be there for the Commonwealth Service and really enjoying celebrating this great legacy that Her Majesty has left and is leaving. And as you know, Prince Charles, this was a big deal for him as well. He is really starting to represent his mother in new and unique ways, because Her Majesty, she's older, she's ill, and she's struggling. And so he's seeing, he's been kind of in that runner-up role for over 70 years now. And I think he's ready to take the reins of the monarchy. And it's great to see him really stepping up. And I think we'll see this more and more in the coming year. So if you guys have never been to Royal News Network before, I cover anything related to the royals. Today is Royal Tiara Tuesday as well. So I may have 2 videos dropping today. That's kind of the plan. And so I'll be discussing the Stuart tiara, the biggest tiara in the Dutch collection. So we won't be just talking about the British. We'll be talking about royals from mostly throughout Europe, a couple from around the world as well, because I just really, really enjoy royals. I enjoy the history, the fashion, the jewelry, and just the legacy that royals bring. So if that's something that's of interest to you, feel free to hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you back. The channel is blowing up like crazy. And so it's absolutely insane. And be a part of our great community here. And I can't wait to see you again. Bye.